Welcome to this operations management tutorial video. This is video number 2 in our series of inventory management tutorial videos, and in this video we're going to show you how to do cycle counting. This goes hand in hand with the ABC classification. Once we have our items classified, then we can use that information to help us determine how frequently we want to keep an eye on these different items. Let's use the example out of the textbook where we are told we have 400 A items, 600 B items, and 1,000 C items. And let's suppose we want to count the inventory to make sure it is accurately reflected in our system. Well, that's a lot of items to count, and so we don't need to count all the items every day. We don't need to count them every month. But we can determine by classification how often we want to count each of those items. So in this example, we are told that we want to count the A items once every 20 days, the B items once every 60 days, and the C items once every 250 days. In the homework, you might be asked, well, how many items total do we need to count, or how many A items do we need to count every day? This is done very easily. We just take the number of items and divide it by the count frequency, or the count interval. And so if we have 400 items, we're going to count them once every 20 days. That means we need to count 20 A items, or verify the inventory on 20 of those 400 items every day. We copy that formula down, and we are told we need to count 10 B items per day and only 4 C items per day. The rationale is the C items are probably not very expensive. We don't need to be super accurate, or we don't need to put a lot of effort into counting them, because if we lose some of them or misplace them, they're not that valuable. So that is, again, the rationale behind the ABC classification and cycle counting. Now we can take the sum of these daily counts, and it tells us that overall across A, B, and C items we would need to count 34 items a day. Now in the homework you may not get problems that are quite so easy. For example, you might be told that the company has designated 10% of the items to be A items, 30% B items, and 60% C items, and then it says, well, there's 8,000 items total. And then we might be told that they want to count the A items once every 30 days, the B items once every 90 days, and the C items once every 150 days. So first we need to determine how many items we have here, and so we take the total number of items, and we're going to anchor that and multiply that by the percentage. So if we have 10% A items, we're going to have 800 A items. We copy that formula down, and now we have the count of A items, B items, and C items, and from here we can do what we did with the previous example. We take the number of items and divide it by the count interval. And now we're not getting such nice round numbers, but that's okay. We're going to copy that formula down, and there we have it, how many items, or how many items in each class we are supposed to count each day. We do the sum of this, and now we have a total of 85.33 items. Of course, we would round up in this case when we're counting, but again, this kind of tells us we would need to count 26 A items a day, or 27 B items, and 32 C items, 85 items a day, to cycle through our 8,000 items in inventory across the given intervals. All right, well, I hope this is helpful as you tackle the cycle counting homework problems.